When I logged into my retirement account and saw $18,000 had been stolen by my own daughter, I didn't break down. I calmly picked up the phone and made one call. By morning, my first move was already in motion, and that was just the start of my fight for justice. You won't believe what I did next. Before we continue, please subscribe to the channel and let us know where you are listening in the comments. Now, let's start. I had been staring at that calculator for 20 minutes, and the numbers still didn't add up. Property taxes, utilities, groceries for 3 people instead of 1, gas money for constant trips to soccer practice and dance class. My kitchen table looked like a war zone of bills and receipts, and I could hear my grandkids arguing over the remote in the living room. Grandpa Ronnie. Emma called from the couch. Can we have ice cream for breakfast? Nice try, sweetheart. I called back, not looking up from the mess of papers. Eat your cereal first. 2 weeks. That's what Lisa had said when she showed up at my door with tears streaming down her face and 2 suitcases full of kids' clothes. Dad, I wouldn't ask if it was an emergency. Mark's business is in trouble, and we need to handle some urgent financial stuff. Just 2 weeks, I promise. I should have known better. 30 years as a mail carrier had taught me to read people, to spot trouble before it found you. But this was my daughter. My little girl who used to wait by the mailbox for me to come home, who made me construction paper Father's Day cards every year until she was 16. 2 weeks, I had said, opening my door wider. Of course. That had been 3 weeks ago. Tyler, my 9-year-old grandson, appeared in the kitchen doorway, wearing yesterday's shirt and mismatched socks. Grandpa, when are Mom and Dad coming back? Emma keeps asking, and I don't know what to tell her. My chest tightened. Good question, kid. Soon, buddy. They're just handling some grown-up stuff. He nodded like he understood, but I could see the doubt in his eyes. Kids were smarter than we gave them credit for. He disappeared back into the living room, and I heard him telling his sister that Mom and Dad would be back soon, using the same uncertain tone I had just used with him. I pulled out the property tax notice that had come yesterday. $2,400 due in 3 days, or they would start adding penalties. It wasn't a huge amount, but it might as well have been $1 million right then. My Social Security covered the basics, but feeding and caring for 2 kids had blown through my monthly budget twice over. Thank God for that joint account. 6 months ago, Lisa had come to me with a different kind of tears. Happy tears, she had called them. Dad, Mark's construction company is finally taking off. We want to start planning for the future, maybe buy a house, set up college funds for the kids. Would you consider putting some of your retirement money into a joint account? That way we can all contribute to the family's future together. It had sounded so responsible, so mature. My daughter, finally getting her life together after years of bouncing between jobs and apartments. I had withdrawn $18,000 from my retirement account. Not everything, but a good chunk of what I had saved during my mail carrier years. For the family, I had told myself. Now, looking at this property tax bill, I felt grateful I had made that decision. The joint account should have had enough to cover this, and probably the next few months of kid expenses. I fired up my old laptop and waited for it to wheeze to life. The bank's website loaded slower than molasses, but eventually I was staring at the login screen. I entered my information, clicked on the joint account, and waited for the balance to appear. $247.83. I blinked, refreshed the page. The number didn't change. My hands started shaking before my brain fully processed what I was seeing. $18,000. Gone. I clicked through the transaction history with trembling fingers, watching my retirement money disappear in 3 large withdrawals over the past week. $7,500 on Monday, $6,000 on Wednesday, $4,500 on Friday. All while I had been here, changing diapers and helping with homework, and wondering why Lisa hadn't called. I grabbed my phone and dialed her number, straight to voicemail. Her voice cheerful and carefree. Hi, you've reached Lisa. I can't come to the phone right now, but leave a message and I'll get back to you. Lisa, it's Dad. Call me immediately. The account just called me. I hung up and sat there, staring at my phone screen, without really thinking about it. I opened Facebook. Maybe she had posted something, some explanation for why my retirement money had vanished. Lisa's profile loaded and my heart stopped. The latest post was a photo of her and Mark clinking champagne glasses in front of the Eiffel Tower. She was wearing a dress I had never seen before, something that probably cost more than I spent on groceries in a month. Mark was grinning like he had just won the lottery. The caption read, "Living our best life in Paris. First class all the way. Hashtag no regrets. Hashtag worth the wait." Posted 4 hours ago. I scrolled down. More photos. Fancy restaurants. Designer shopping bags. Lisa posing in front of the Louvre. Mark smoking a cigar on some European balcony I didn't recognize. Going back 3 days. While I had been scraping together quarters to buy milk for their kids. "Grandpa." Emma's voice sounded small from the doorway. "When are Mommy and Daddy coming home? Tyler said they went away because of us." I looked at my 6-year-old granddaughter, still in her princess pajamas, holding her favorite stuffed elephant. Behind her, Tyler hovered in the hallway, trying to look tough but failing to hide the worry in his eyes. My phone buzzed with a new notification. Another Instagram post. Lisa again, this time raising a glass of wine with the caption, "Cheers to new beginnings. Sometimes you have to take what's yours." Clinking glasses airplane. Posted 20 minutes ago. I stared at that screen, at my daughter's smiling face, at the wine that probably cost more than my monthly electric bill, and something cold and hard settled in my chest. "Grandpa?" Emma asked again, "Are you okay? You look funny." I closed the laptop and forced a smile. "I'm fine, sweetheart. Come here." She ran over and climbed onto my lap, and I held her tight, breathing in the smell of her strawberry shampoo. Over her head, I caught Tyler's eye and saw too much understanding there. This kid knew something was wrong. My phone sat on the table next to the property tax bill. Lisa's face still glowing from the screen. Living her best life. No regrets. Sometimes you have to take what's yours. $18,000 of my retirement money. Gone. While I was here raising her children and trying to figure out how to keep the lights on. I held Emma closer and made a decision that would change everything. It was time my daughter learned what happened when you stole from family. 2 a.m, and I was sitting in my garage like some kind of lunatic, surrounded by photo albums and bank statements spread across my workbench. The fluorescent light overhead flickered and buzzed, casting harsh shadows over everything. I hadn't eaten since breakfast yesterday, but my stomach felt like it was full of concrete anyway. My hands wouldn't stop shaking. I picked up a photo from Lisa's high school graduation. There she was in her cap and gown, beaming at the camera with that gap-toothed smile she had had before braces. I was standing next to her, chest puffed out with pride, wearing my best suit, the one Margaret had made me buy for special occasions. Where did I go wrong? I whispered to the empty garage. How did I raise someone who could do this? The photo trembled in my hands. I set it down carefully and picked up another one. Lisa at 7, wobbling on her first two-wheeler while I ran alongside her, one hand on the seat. She was laughing, fearless, trusting me completely to keep her safe. When had that little girl turned into someone who could steal from her own father? I flipped through more photos with growing desperation, looking for clues I had missed. Lisa's first day of kindergarten, Christmas mornings, her wedding day, when she danced with me and whispered, "Thank you for always being there, Daddy." I had been so proud that day. My little girl, all grown up, started her own family. The bank statements lay scattered next to the photos like accusations. 3 withdrawals, $18,000. Gone. My chest felt tight, and I realized I was breathing too fast. The garage walls seemed to be closing in. I needed to understand how this had happened. Needed to piece together the timeline of my daughter's betrayal. I grabbed my phone and started scrolling through our text messages from the past month. Reading them now with what I knew, it was like seeing a magic trick explained. Every message had been manipulation disguised as love. "Dad, I'm so worried about the kid's future. Sometimes I lie awake at night thinking about college costs and what kind of world we're leaving them." Sent on March 15th. According to the airline confirmation, I had found crumpled in her purse. That was the same day she had booked first-class tickets to Paris. You're such a good grandfather. The kids are so lucky to have you in their lives. You've always been our rock. March 20th, the day she had withdrawn $7,500 from our joint account. Mark and I were just saying how grateful we are for everything you do for this family. We don't deserve you. March 22nd, 2 days after she had taken another $6,000. Each message was a knife twist now. She had known exactly what she was doing, exactly which buttons to push. My own daughter, playing me like a mark in some con game. The airline confirmation was wrinkled from being thrown away, but I could still read it. Booked 6 weeks ago. Round-trip flights to Paris. Returning, never. The return date had been changed 3 times, each extension longer than the last. This hadn't been a spur-of-the-moment decision. This hadn't been some emergency that spiraled out of control. This had been planned, calculated. While I had been helping Emma with her multiplication tables and driving Tyler to soccer practice, my daughter had been plotting to rob me blind. I leaned back in my desk chair and closed my eyes, but that just made the memories flood back harder. Margaret's funeral, 2 years ago. Lisa holding my arm at the graveside, tears streaming down her face. Dad, we're going to take care of each other now, okay? We're family. That's what family does. Family, right. Margaret had always worried about Lisa. She's got champagne taste on a beer budget, she would say. And she's never learned to hear the word no. But even Margaret couldn't have imagined this. I opened the desk drawer and pulled out a Father's Day card, handmade construction paper with Emma's careful 6-year-old handwriting. Best grandpa ever in purple crayon, decorated with stick figures of the 3 of us holding hands. Me in the middle, towering over the kids with a huge smile drawn in marker. The innocent trust in that drawing broke something loose in my chest. These kids believed in me. They thought Grandpa could fix anything, solve any problem. What was I going to tell them when the lights got shut off, when we lost the house, when their grandfather turned out to be just another old fool who got taken by his own family? My RV payment notice was pinned to bulletin board, red letters screaming final notice. That RV represented everything I had worked for during 30 years of carrying mail through rain and snow and 100-degree heat. It was supposed to be my freedom, my golden years adventure. Margaret and I had planned to drive cross-country, see the Grand Canyon, visit Yellowstone. Now it would probably get repossessed because I had been stupid enough to trust my daughter. The property tax deadline was tomorrow. If I didn't come up with $2,400, penalties would start adding up. Miss it by too much, and the county could foreclose on the house. The house where Emma drew pictures at the kitchen table, and Tyler practiced guitar in the basement. The house that had become their safe harbor while their parents lived it up in Europe. I looked at that Father's Day card again, at Emma's innocent declaration of love, and something hardened in my chest. These kids hadn't asked for any of this. They didn't deserve to be abandoned by parents who cared more about champagne and first-class flights than their own children. But they had me, and I'd be damned if I was going to let them down the way their parents had. My phone buzzed on the workbench, startling me out of my thoughts. A text message from a number I didn't recognize, international prefix. Having amazing time. Kids doing okay? Don't wait up. Face blowing a kiss. I stared at that message, at the casual cruelty of it. Don't wait up. Like I was some babysitter she had hired for the weekend. Like her children were just an inconvenience she could dump on the old man while she lived her best life on my retirement money. The casual emoji, the breezy tone, it was like a slap in the face. 24 hours ago, I had been worried sick about Lisa and Mark, imagining car accidents or medical emergencies. Now I knew the truth. They were fine. More than fine. They were having the time of their lives. On my dime. While I was here at 3 a.m., surrounded by bank statements and baby photos, trying to figure out how to keep their children fed and housed, something broke inside me. Not broke, crystallized, like water turning to ice. I had spent my whole life being the responsible one, the steady one, the one who showed up and did what needed to be done. 30 years of mail routes in all weather, taking care of Margaret through her illness, Raising Lisa when she made mistake after mistake. Being the grandfather who never said no, who was always there with an open wallet and open arms. And this was how it ended? Robbed by my own daughter while babysitting her kids? No. I looked at that text message again, and for the first time since I had discovered the theft, I wasn't shaking with fear or grief. I was shaking with something else entirely. Rage. Pure, cold rage. And determination. Lisa thought she could steal from me and disappear into her European vacation, leaving me to clean up the mess. She thought being family meant she could take whatever she wanted without consequences. She was about to learn different. I picked up Emma's Father's Day card and carefully tucked it into my shirt pocket, right over my heart. Then I started gathering up the bank statements, the photos, the evidence of my daughter's betrayal. The kids were going to wake up in a few hours, and they were going to need breakfast. They were going to need their grandfather to be strong and steady and reliable, the way I had always been. But first, I was going to make some phone calls. It was time Lisa learned what happened when you stole from family. Dawn crept through garage windows, and I realized I had never gone to bed. From inside the house, I heard Emma's voice. "Grandpa? Grandpa, where are you?" I scrambled to shove the bank statements into folders. I couldn't let the kids see this mess. "Coming, sweetheart." I called out, my voice cracking. Both kids were standing in the kitchen in their pajamas. Emma was holding her stuffed elephant, and Tyler had that worried look he got when he was trying to be the man of the house. "Where were you?" Emma asked, climbing onto a chair. "Just working on paperwork." "You guys hungry?" Tyler stared at me with those two perceptive eyes. "Grandpa, why do you look so sad?" The question hit like a punch. I had thought I was hiding it better, but kids saw everything. "Just tired, buddy." Sometimes grown-ups have to stay up late. Emma discovered her own crisis. "Grandpa, I can't find my purple shirt. The sparkly unicorn one." I had no idea where it was. Margaret had always handled laundry. I opened the hamper, overflowing, and I realized I didn't know how to properly wash children's clothes. "It's probably in the wash." "How about the yellow one?" Emma's face crumpled. "But I hate the yellow one. And today is show and tell." She started crying those big 6-year-old tears that made you feel like the worst person alive. "The yellow shirt is beautiful," I said, kneeling down. "You'd be pretty in a potato sack." Crisis 2. We were out of milk. The cereal cabinet had nothing but healthy stuff. No sugary cartoon characters. "Where's the good cereal?" Tyler asked. We ended up with scrambled eggs, which they picked at pitifully. Then the phone rang. "Mr. Walters? This is Mrs. Delacroix from Pinecrest Elementary. We need Tyler's permission slip for the field trip today." My stomach dropped. Permission slip? For the Science Museum. The bus leaves in an hour. Tyler looked panicked. "Grandpa, I can't miss the field trip." I tore through Lisa's paperwork. Nothing. Just more evidence of her complete abandonment. That's when Esther Kim appeared at my back door with coffee and homemade pastries. "Ronnie, you okay? I saw your garage light on all night." Esther had been my neighbor for 15 years, but we had never been more than polite. She was one of those people who seemed to have life figured out. "I'm fine," I started, but she was already inside, and one look at my face stopped her. "You look terrible. When's the last time you slept?" The kindness nearly undid me. "It's been rough." The kids zeroed in on her pastries like starving wolves. "What's wrong?" she asked quietly. I glanced at the kids, then heard myself say, "Lisa stole my retirement money, $18,000. She took it while I was watching the kids, and now she's in Europe while I can't afford groceries." Esther's face cycled through shock, anger, recognition. "Oh, Ronnie, how much trouble are you in?" "Property taxes due today. Can't afford Tyler's field trip. Credit card declined at the pharmacy yesterday for my blood pressure medication, and Emma saw it all." Esther looked at the kids, who were pretending not to listen. "Have you called police?" "I filed a report. But she's family. People say work it out privately." "Family doesn't steal from family," Esther said firmly. "What she did is theft, pure and simple. It was the first time someone had validated my feelings instead of making excuses for Lisa. The relief was overwhelming. Tyler appeared at my elbow, pulling out a wrinkled $5 bill and change. "Grandpa, you can have my piggy bank money. For your medicine." My 9-year-old grandson trying to fix his mother's mess with allowance money nearly destroyed me. I knelt and hugged him. "Keep your money, buddy. Grandpa's going to figure this out." Esther cleared her throat. "I can cover the field trip. And maybe help you make calls? Track down Lisa and Mark." For the next hour, she became my lifeline. She signed Tyler's permission slip, drove him to school, and returned with a list of Lisa's contacts. We started calling everyone. The picture that emerged made me feel like a complete fool. Lisa's friend Jennifer. "I thought you knew about their big trip? Lisa's been talking about Europe for months." Her coworker. "Lisa quit weeks ago. Said she wouldn't need the job because her family situation had changed." The landlord. "They broke their lease early, forfeited deposit. Seemed excited about some new opportunity. Everyone had known. Everyone except me." "Ronnie," Esther said gently, "I think you need to go to Lisa's place." The drive felt like a funeral procession. Emma chattered in the back seat, asking when we would see Mommy and Daddy. When we arrived, there was a "for rent" sign. My heart sank. "Why are we here?" Emma asked, "Just need to check something." The apartment door stood open. A maintenance worker was painting over nail holes. The place was completely empty. Emma pushed past me and stopped dead in what used to be the living room. "Where's my room? Where are all my toys?" She ran to her bedroom. Empty. Check closets. Nothing. That's when she started crying. Not dramatic tears, but quiet, heartbroken sobs that cut right through me. "Grandpa, where are all my things? My dollhouse? My bike?" I knelt and pulled her close, but I had no answers. Tyler appeared, taking in the empty apartment with that too-old expression. "They're not coming back, are they?" I looked at my grandchildren's confusion and pain, realizing this had stopped being about money the moment we walked into this empty apartment. This was about two kids abandoned by the people supposed to love them most. This was about me, their grandfather, their last offense, deciding what kind of man I would be. I held Emma tighter and met Tyler's eyes. "No, buddy, but you've got me, and I'm not going anywhere." Walking back to the car, Emma's hand in mine and Tyler's arm around my shoulders, I made a decision that would change everything. This wasn't about money anymore. This was about justice. About making sure two innocent kids knew actions had consequences. That family meant more than blood. And sometimes those who love you most held you accountable. Lisa had thought she could steal from me and disappear. She was about to learn different. Back at my house, Emma collapsed on the living room floor and started sobbing like her heart was broken. "My dollhouse," she wailed. "My princess dress-up clothes." Tyler sat on the couch, arms crossed, staring at the wall. They threw away all our stuff. I sat down on the floor between them, and suddenly I was crying too. The ugly, shoulder-shaking kind that came from somewhere deep in your chest. Emma crawled into my lap, still sobbing. Tyler slid down and leaned against my shoulder. We sat there on my carpet, 3 people abandoned by the same woman, and cried together. "Grandpa," Emma hiccuped, "did we do something wrong? Is that why Mommy and Daddy left?" How do you explain to a 6-year-old that her parents were selfish thieves? "No, sweetheart, you didn't do anything wrong. Mommy and Daddy made some bad choices, but that's not your fault." Tyler lifted his head. "What kind of bad choices?" "They took some money that wasn't theirs, and they left without telling us when they'd be back. Those are grown-up mistakes that have nothing to do with you." Tyler's face went red. "They lied to us. They said they'd be back in 2 weeks. "I know, buddy. I'm angry too." "Are they in trouble?" Emma asked. "Yes, but that's for grown-ups to figure out. Your job is to be kids and let Grandpa worry about grown-up stuff." Tyler straightened up. "I can help. I'm not a little kid anymore." "You're both safe here," I told them, pulling them closer. "Grandpa's going to fix this. I promise." Emma sniffled. "Can we stay here forever?" Before I could answer, there was a knock. Frank Kowalski stood on my porch with grocery bags and beer. Frank and I had worked mail routes together for 20 years. He was one of those guys who would give you the shirt off his back. Heard through the grapevine you're dealing with family trouble, he said, pushing into my kitchen. Figured you needed supplies. He unpacked groceries, real cereal with cartoon characters, sandwich bread, milk, juice boxes. Kids' food. Frank, you don't have to. Shut up, Ronnie. This is what family does. He looked at Tyler and Emma hovering in the doorway. You guys holding up okay? Tyler nodded. Emma hid behind my leg. How did you know? I asked. Esther called me. Said you could use backup. He finished unpacking. My sister stole 40 grand from my parents' estate while Dad was dying, cleaned out his savings, and disappeared to Florida. I stared at him. 20 years of friendship, and he had never mentioned this. What did you do? Same thing you're going to do. Fought back, took her to court, got most of the money back. His jaw tightened. Some people think family means you can't fight back when they screw you over. They're wrong. Emma tugged my shirt. Grandpa, can I have cereal with marshmallows? After lunch. Go wash your hands. Both kids disappeared, and Frank leaned against my counter. You filed a police report? Yesterday. But she's in Europe. Doesn't matter. I know Detective Okafor at the station. Good cop. Want me to call him? Esther appeared at my back door with a casserole dish. I brought dinner. And I've been thinking about your situation. Within minutes, they were tag-teaming me with support. It was overwhelming in the best way. I can watch the kids while you handle business, Esther offered. And I can drive you places, Frank added. Court, lawyers, whatever. The librarian at the main branch went through something similar, Esther said. Ruby, she might help with research. I looked around my kitchen at these people organizing my life, offering to help raise my grandchildren. It was a miracle I hadn't known I needed. Tyler appeared at my elbow. Grandpa, I started the laundry. I think I know how. Tyler, you don't have to. I want to help. Emma and I can do house stuff, so you don't worry about everything. This 9-year-old was trying to be the man of the house because his father had abandoned him. Being helpful doesn't mean you have to grow up too fast, okay? He nodded, but I could see he was still carrying weight no kid should carry. Emma wandered in with a drawing. 3 stick figures holding hands in front of a house. A tall one labeled Grandpa, medium one Tyler, small one me. No parents. This is our family now, she announced proudly. Esther made a soft sound. Frank cleared his throat. I stared at that drawing, at my granddaughter's innocent acceptance of her new reality. These kids weren't just surviving this betrayal. They were adapting, finding safety in my house, creating new routines, new definitions of family. They trusted me to protect them, to be their constant when everything else had fallen apart. I wasn't just a victim of my daughter's death anymore. I was their guardian, their champion. You know what? I told Emma, pinning her drawing to the refrigerator. I think this is a pretty perfect family. Another knock. Through the window, I saw a police uniform. That'll be Okafor, Frank said. I called him while you were talking to the kids. My stomach clenched. This was when Lisa's actions became official, when family business became legal business. Tyler and Emma hid behind me as I opened the door. Detective Okafor was younger than I had expected, with kind eyes. Mr. Walters? I'm Detective Okafor. Frank asked me to stop by. I explained everything. The joint account, missing money, abandoned children, empty apartment. Okafor took notes while the kids peeked from behind my legs. Mr. Walters, he said, closing his notebook, what your daughter did isn't just morally wrong. It's a felony. Elder financial abuse, theft, possibly child abandonment. Emma grabbed my hand. Tyler stepped protectively in front of his sister. Okafor noticed and softened his voice. But, you know what? These kids are lucky to have you. A lot of grandparents would fall apart. You're stepping up, fighting back, making sure they're safe and loved. That takes real courage. He looked directly at Tyler and Emma. Your grandpa is a hero, you know that? Tyler straightened up. Emma peeked out from behind my leg. So what happens now? I asked. Okafor smiled. Now we hold your daughter accountable. And we make sure these kids know that family doesn't mean letting people walk all over you. As he headed to his car, Tyler tugged my shirt. Grandpa, are you really a hero? I looked down at my grandson, this brave, protective little boy trying to hold his family together, and realized maybe I was becoming one. I don't know about hero, buddy, but I'm your grandpa, and that means I'll always fight for you and Emma. Always. He grinned for first time all day. Cool. Can we have that marshmallow cereal now? 1 week later, my house had become mission control. Frank brought coffee every morning. Esther packed the kids' lunches. Ruby from the library printed documents and research. The kids called it Team Grandpa. Who's on duty today? Tyler asked over breakfast, studying our schedule on the refrigerator. Esther's taking you to school, Frank's picking you up for soccer, and Ruby's helping me with paperwork. Emma nodded seriously. And I'm helping by being good and not asking for toys we can't afford. My heart broke every time she said that. 6 years old and already worried about money. The investigation revealed things that made me sick. Ruby had helped me monitor Lisa's social media, and Lisa had been telling people I had given them the money her college roommate had posted. So sweet that your dad funded your European adventure. Mark had been spinning the same story to his family. His brother had called yesterday. Mark told us how generous you've been. That's real family love. I couldn't tell him the truth over the phone. That's why I nearly dropped the phone this morning when it rang. Ronnie? It's Carol. My ex-wife. Lisa's mother. We had barely spoken since Margaret's funeral. Why are you causing trouble for Lisa? She called crying, saying you got police involved over some money misunderstanding. Misunderstanding? I gripped the phone. Carol, she stole $18,000. She said you gave permission for emergencies. A European vacation is an emergency. She's struggling, Ronnie. This divorce from Mark is tearing her apart. Divorce? Carol, they're in Europe together. Pause. That's not what she told me. Even caught red-handed, Lisa was still lying to everyone. She's manipulating you, Carol, just like she manipulated me. Can you let this go? She made a mistake, but dragging her through courts. She abandoned her children. Your grandchildren are living with me because their parents chose vacation over their own kids. Silence. Carol, how many times did we bail Lisa out? Pay her rent, car payments, credit cards. We were helping. We were enabling. She thinks she can take whatever she wants from family because family always forgives. I'm not doing that anymore. Not when it hurts Tyler and Emma. Carol hung up. I stared at the phone, realizing Lisa had been lying to everyone, even her mother. Grandpa. Emma appeared, dragging her elephant. Can I sleep in your bed again? I had another bad dream. She had been having nightmares every night since the empty apartment. Of course, sweetheart. Tyler wandered in with his backpack. The school counselor wants to see me again. I got in trouble yesterday. What happened? Bobby Martinez said his dad heard Mom and Dad are drug dealers. So I punched him. Tyler, he was being mean about you too, saying you must be a bad grandpa if your daughter stole from you. These kids were dealing with school rumors on top of everything else. Sit down, both of you. We gathered around a kitchen table, our family meeting spot. Here's the truth. Your parents made bad choices. They took money that wasn't theirs and left without telling us when they'd return. That's not your fault or mine. When are they coming back? Emma asked. I don't know, sweetheart. Until they do, you're staying here. This is your home now. Tyler's eyes filled with tears. Forever? As long as you need it to be. Emma climbed into my lap. I like living here better anyway. You make better pancakes than Daddy. The doorbell rang. Frank entered with groceries. Esther with a casserole. Ruby with folders. Team meeting? Frank announced. Updates. While the kids finished breakfast, my support network gathered. The kindness of these near strangers overwhelmed me. Neighbors want to do a meal train, Esther reported. Church heard about Emma needing school clothes. The GoFundMe is up to $800. Frank added quietly. You started a GoFundMe? People want to help Ronnie. Sometimes you gotta let them. Ruby spread legal documents. I found 3 similar cases where grandparents got full restitution. 2 weeks ago, I had been a lonely widower. Now I was surrounded by unexpected support and love. That's when the repo notice arrived. Certified mail from my old colleague, who gave me a sympathetic look. Inside, bright red letters. Final notice. Vehicle repossession scheduled. My RV. Everything Margaret and I had dreamed about for retirement. Gone. I walked to the grocery store to clear my head, but halfway down the cereal aisle, my chest tightened and I couldn't breathe. Fluorescent lights too bright, shelves too close. Panic attack in the middle of Food Lion. I stumbled outside, leaned against my car, gasping. Tyler found me. Esther had driven him to look after I didn't return. Grandpa, you look funny. I couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. This 9-year-old took my hand, guided me to sit on the curb. It's okay, he said, patting my shoulder like I had been patting his. Just breathe like this. He demonstrated slow, deep breaths. After a few minutes, my chest loosened. I'm sorry you had to see that, buddy. Tyler sat beside me. Is it because of the RV? Esther told us they might take it. I nodded, not trusting my voice. Grandpa, it's okay. We don't need the RV. We have you. And Frank and Esther and Ruby and all the people helping us. That's better than any stupid RV. This kid, who had lost his parents, home, and toys, was comforting me about my retirement dream. You're right. We have each other. That's what matters. At home, my phone rang. Unknown number, but I recognized Mark's area code. Mr. Walters? This is Jake, Mark's brother. I need to talk about something important. My stomach clenched. What's wrong? I just got off the phone with Mark. He told me a very different story than before. Jake's voice was tight with anger. He said you were happy to help fund their trip, but now I'm hearing they stole from you? They took $18,000 without permission while I babysat their kids. Long silence. Oh, God, I had no idea. Mark told us you were excited about helping them start fresh. I'm so sorry. It was the first time I had heard genuine remorse from Mark's family. I'm going to make this right, Jake continued. I don't know how yet, but I'm not letting my brother ruin those kids' lives or destroy a good man like you. After he hung up, I sat surrounded by evidence of my new life. Kids' drawings on the refrigerator, homework on the table, Tyler and Emma arguing over a board game. For the first time since this nightmare had started, I felt something I hadn't felt before. Hope. Jake called back the next morning while the kids were at school. I set up a video call with Mark and Lisa. 3 o'clock your time. Are you ready for this? Was I ready to face my daughter for the first time since she had robbed me? No, but it was time. Frank and Esther sat with me at my kitchen table as Jake's laptop connected to some cafe in Paris. The screen flickered, and suddenly there they were. Lisa and Mark, looking tan and relaxed in designer clothes I had never seen before. Lisa's hair was shorter, professionally styled. Mark was wearing a watch that probably cost more than my monthly Social Security check. They looked like they were living their best life on my retirement money. Hi, Dad, Lisa said, her voice artificially bright. You look tired. 3 weeks of raising your children will do that. I replied. She flinched. Mark shifted uncomfortably in his chair, looking like he would rather be anywhere else. Dad, look, I know you're upset about the money, but you never spend it anyway. We knew you'd understand eventually. It's an investment in our future, in the kids' future. The casual dismissal of my financial security hit me, like a slap. Frank squeezed my shoulder. I spent it on your children. Every day for 3 weeks. Groceries, school supplies, Tyler's soccer fees, Emma's dance class. That money was supposed to last me years, Lisa. Instead, I used it keeping your kids fed and clothed while you were drinking champagne in Paris. Lisa's confident expression wavered. We were going to pay you back. When? After you spent it all on first-class flights and luxury hotels. Mark spoke for the first time. Mr. Walters, this wasn't supposed to... We thought we'd be back by now. Things got complicated. What things? Lisa shot Mark a warning look, but he was already talking. I had some debts. Gambling debts. Dangerous people were looking for me, and we needed to disappear for a while until I could figure things out. So you used your children's grandfather as your getaway fund? We were desperate. Lisa's voice rose. You don't understand the pressure we were under. I understand that you abandoned your children. I understand that Emma cries herself to sleep every night, asking where her toys are. I understand that Tyler got in a fight at school, defending our family, because kids are calling you drug dealers. Lisa's face crumbled. For the first time, she looked like the little girl I remembered. Did the kids know? They know their parents lied to them. They know their parents chose a vacation over coming home. They know their parents threw away all their belongings like garbage. We didn't throw them away. We sold them. We needed the money for... Lisa stopped, realizing what she had just admitted. The silence stretched. Frank's jaw was tight with anger. Esther looked like she might cry. How could you involve the police? Lisa's voice turned manipulative, the tone she had used since childhood to get out of trouble. I'm your daughter. This is family business. How could you abandon your children? They're your babies, Lisa. We weren't abandoning them. We were just... What? What were you doing? Mark answered before Lisa could stop him. We were going to ask you to keep them temporarily. Maybe a year or two, until we got established somewhere new. The room spun. You were planning to disappear permanently? Lisa's tears were flowing now. We wanted to start fresh. Mark's business failed. We were drowning in debt, and those people he owed money to were making threats. We thought maybe if we could get to Australia or New Zealand, somewhere far away, with my retirement money, we would have sent for the kids eventually, when, after they turned 18, and you didn't have to support them anymore. The front door slammed. Tyler and Emma were home from school. Grandpa! Emma's voice carried from the hallway. Whose car is that outside? Before I could answer, she bounced into the kitchen and stopped dead when she saw the laptop screen. Mommy! She ran toward the computer, face lighting up with pure joy. Mommy, when are you coming home? I miss you so much. Lisa's face appeared closer to the camera. Hi, baby. Mommy misses you too. Are you still in trouble? When can you come get us? Grandpa's really nice, but I want to come home. Tyler appeared behind his sister, took one look at the screen, and his expression hardened. Tyler, sweetheart, Lisa said, come say hi to Mommy and Daddy. Tyler crossed his arms. No. Tyler, you left us, he said quietly. You lied and you left us and you made Grandpa cry. Mark leaned into the frame. Son, it's complicated. Sometimes grown-ups have to make hard choices. Like selling my bike? Tyler's voice was steady, but his hands were shaking. Like throwing away Emma's dollhouse? Like stealing Grandpa's money, so he can't afford his medicine. Emma looked confused, glancing between her brother and parents. What's Tyler talking about? The silence on the call was deafening. Lisa was crying openly now. Mark looked sick. We didn't mean for it to happen this way, Lisa whispered. Tyler took Emma's hand. Come on, Em. Let's go play outside. But I want to talk to Mommy. No. Tyler's voice was firm in a way that broke my heart. They're not our parents anymore. Grandpa is. He led Emma away, and I could hear her starting to cry in the hallway. Lisa was sobbing on screen. Daddy, please, you have to make them understand. We love them. We were trying to protect them. By stealing from their grandfather? By abandoning them? Mark stood up abruptly. This is bullshit. We never asked to be parents. We never asked for this responsibility. Your daughter trapped me with those kids, and now... The screen went black. Jake had cut the connection. I sat in my kitchen, surrounded by the aftermath of that horrible conversation. Frank looked like he wanted to punch something. Esther was dabbing her eyes with a tissue. I need to talk to the kids, I said. I found them in the backyard. Tyler was pushing Emma on the swing set, both of them crying quietly. That was hard. I told them, sitting on the grass nearby, are they coming back? Emma asked, I don't know, sweetheart. But whether they do or don't, you're safe here with me. Tyler stopped pushing the swing. Grandpa, I meant what I said. I don't want to see them anymore. They hurt you and they hurt us, and I don't care if they're our parents. Tyler, it's okay to be angry, but they are still your parents, even when they make terrible mistakes. Bad parents, Emma said quietly. The question hung in the air between us. These kids had been through enough. They didn't need me to explain the complexity of loving someone who had hurt you badly. That night, Emma crawled into my bed, clutching her stuffed elephant. Grandpa, she whispered in the dark, are Mommy and Daddy bad people? The question I had been dreading, the one that would determine everything that happened next. I looked at my granddaughter's face in the moonlight, so trusting, so innocent, and realized that my answer would shape how she saw family, trust, and love for the rest of her life. Sometimes good people make bad choices, I told her finally, and sometimes those bad choices hurt the people they love most. Did we make them make bad choices? No, sweetheart, never. This is about grown-up problems that have nothing to do with you and Tyler. She snuggled closer. I like living with you better anyway. As she fell asleep beside me, I stared at the ceiling and made a decision that changed everything. Lisa and Mark weren't just thieves. They weren't just bad with money. They were child abandoners, and that was unforgivable. Sunday morning, I sat at my kitchen table, watching Tyler and Emma play tag in the backyard through the window. For the first time in weeks, they were laughing, really laughing. Frank arrived with coffee and the Sunday paper. The headline made my blood run cold. Elder financial abuse on the rise. Family stealing from grandparents. Jesus, Frank muttered, reading over my shoulder. Listen to this. 1 in 10 seniors reports financial abuse by family members, with average losses exceeding $15,000. I stared at those numbers. I wasn't alone. I wasn't even unusual. Ruby called while I was still processing the article. Ronnie, I've been talking to other library patrons about your situation. You'd be amazed how many similar stories I'm hearing. Mrs. Patterson's son cleaned out her checking account. The Johnson family, their daughter-in-law took $30,000 from their home equity line. Detective Okafor stopped by after lunch with similar news. Mr. Walters, I've worked family theft cases for 8 years. What your daughter did isn't uncommon. But you know what is? Grandparents who fight back. Most stay silent, too ashamed or too afraid of family drama. He looked out at Tyler and Emma, who were building a fort with lawn chairs. You have a choice. Be another silent victim, or speak up and maybe prevent this from happening to another family. After he left, I sat on my porch watching kids play. Tyler was teaching Emma how to throw a football properly. She was terrible at it, but he was patient, encouraging. He was becoming the big brother she needed. Grandpa, Tyler said, jogging over. I heard what Detective Okafor said. If Mom and Dad go to jail, is it your fault or theirs? The question hit like a punch. What do you think, buddy? He considered this seriously. I think it's theirs. They took your money. They left us. Nobody made them do that. Smart kid. Too smart for his own good sometimes. Emma ran over with a drawing she had been working on. This one showed 4 stick figures. Her, Tyler, me, and in the corner, 2 smaller figures labeled Mom and Dad. They were separated from the main group by what looked like an ocean. That's our family, she announced. Mom and Dad are far away, but we're together. Even at 6, she understood the new reality better than I did sometimes. The neighborhood gossip mill had opinions about our situation. Mrs. Sullivan from across the street had cornered me at the mailbox yesterday. Ronnie, I know it's hard, but family business should stay in the family. Maybe you could work something out privately. But Mr. Nakamura, who lived 2 doors down, felt differently. My brother stole from our parents in Japan. We did nothing, and he just got worse. Sometimes you have to draw lines. Frank's advice was characteristically blunt. Your job is protecting those kids, not protecting Lisa from consequences. She made her bed. Esther put it more gently. Sometimes loving someone means letting them face their mistakes. How else do they learn? Sunday afternoon, I drove to the cemetery. Margaret's grave looked peaceful under the old oak tree we had picked because she loved the shade. I don't know what to do, sweetheart, I told her headstone. Lisa's in trouble, and part of me wants to fix it like we always did. I remembered all the times we had bailed Lisa out, the credit card debt in college, the car payments when she couldn't find work, the rent money when Mark's first business had failed, always swooping in to rescue her from the consequences of her choices. We enabled her, didn't we? I asked the empty air. We taught her that family would always clean up her messes. A squirrel ran across Margaret's grave, pausing to look at me before disappearing up the oak tree. Margaret had always said squirrels were just rats with better marketing, but she fed them anyway. I thought about Tyler and Emma, about the stability they were finally finding in my house. Clear rules, consistent bedtimes, homework time, family dinners. Things they had never had with their parents. I'm breaking the cycle, I told Margaret, for their sake. My phone rang as I was driving home. Lisa's number. Daddy? Her voice was small, desperate. Please, you have to help us. We're almost out of money, and the hotel is demanding payment. We can't even afford food. You should have thought of that before you spent my retirement fund on champagne. I'll pay you back. I promise. Just wire us enough to get home, and we'll figure everything out. How? You don't have jobs. Mark's business failed. You sold your kids' belongings. Silence. Then, if you press charges, the kids will hate you forever. Is that what you want? The manipulation attempt was so obvious, it was almost insulting. Lisa, the kids already know what you did. Tyler won't even talk to you, because you turned them against us. I told them the truth. You abandoned them. She started crying. Mom always said you were too hard on people, that you never forgave mistakes. Playing the dead mother card. New low, even for Lisa. Your mother forgave you plenty. We both did. That's why you think you can keep taking from family, without consequences. Daddy, please. I hung up. That evening, Tyler found me sitting on the porch. Grandpa, you look sad again. Just thinking about grown-up stuff. He sat next to me on the steps. Are you sad about Mom and Dad? I'm sad about the choices they made. But I'm not sad about having you and Emma here. Good, because we like it here better anyway. Emma joined us, still in her pajamas, even though it was barely past dinner. Can we have movie night? What movie? The one with the princess, who saves herself. As we settled in with popcorn and blankets, my phone rang. Unknown international number. Mr. Walters? This is Sarah from Transatlantic Airlines. I'm calling about passengers Lisa and Mark Hendricks. Their return flights have been canceled due to payment issues with their credit card. My heart pounded. Payment issues? The card was declined for insufficient funds. They're requesting to change the tickets to your name and billing information. What would you like us to do? I looked at Tyler and Emma, absorbed in their princess movie. Safe, happy, healing. Lisa and Mark were stranded in Europe with no money, no way home, no resources except what they could beg from the family they had robbed. The airline representative was waiting for my answer. Mr. Walters, what would you like us to do? I stared at the phone, holding the power to rescue or abandon my daughter. The kids were at school. This decision would define what kind of grandfather and man I chose to be. The airline representative waited patiently. Mr. Walters, should we transfer the tickets to your account? I thought about Tyler's question. Is it your fault or theirs? I thought about Emma's drawing with her parents, separated by an ocean. I thought about 30 years of enabling disguised as love. No, I told the representative. They'll have to find their own way home. But, sir, they have no other payment method. That's not my problem anymore. The hardest words I had ever said about my daughter. 2 days later, Detective Okafor called. They're back. Mark's brother wired the money for economy flights. We arrested them at the airport. The kids don't know yet? Figured you want to tell them yourself. When Tyler and Emma got home from school, I sat them down at our kitchen table. Your parents are back, I told them. They're in some trouble with the police, but they want to see you. Emma's face lit up. Can we go home now? Tyler's expression was guarded. Do we have to? No, buddy. This is your home. But if you want to see them, we can arrange visits. The first visit happened at my house under supervision. Lisa and Mark sat awkwardly on my couch while Tyler and Emma hovered by the doorway, unsure. Emma ran to Lisa first. Mommy, I missed you. Lisa held her tight, tears streaming. I missed you too, baby. Tyler hung back, arms crossed. Why did you come back? Mark tried to smile. We missed you guys. We made some mistakes, but we're going to fix everything. You sold my bike, Tyler said flatly. The room went quiet. Mark's face crumbled. I'm sorry, son. I'm so sorry. Lisa looked around my house, at the kids' artwork on the refrigerator, the homework station I had set up, the family photos that now included Tyler and Emma, but not her. They look happy, she whispered to me. They are happy. They're safe and stable, and they know what to expect every day. Lisa nodded, tears still falling. I didn't realize how much I was messing up their lives. Family court focused on the kids' needs, not punishment. The judge, a kind woman with grandchildren of her own, listened carefully to everyone's story. Mr. Walters, she said, these children have found stability with you. That's their primary need right now. Lisa finally admitted the truth. Your Honor, I stole from my father. I abandoned my children. I made terrible choices, and they deserve better. The custody arrangement gave me primary guardianship with supervised visits for Lisa and Mark. It was what the kids needed. Stability with gradual rebuilding of trust. The money resolution came from unexpected places. Mark's family, horrified by his actions, helped with restitution. Jake called it family conscience money. Lisa got a job at a dental office, making monthly payments. It would take 2 years to pay back everything, but she was trying. The biggest surprise was Frank's GoFundMe. When the repo company came for my RV, neighbors lined the street with signs reading, Save Grandpa Ronnie's Dream. The fund raised $8,000, enough to pay off the RV and catch up on other bills. I cried in my driveway, overwhelmed by the kindness of near strangers. 6 months later, we had settled into our new normal. Tyler and Emma spent weekends with their parents, but this house was home base. Their forever place, as Emma called it. Lisa attended counseling and seemed genuinely changed. Mark joined Gamblers Anonymous and worked construction jobs to pay restitution. Dad, Lisa said during one visit, I'm grateful you didn't enable me this time. I needed to hit rock bottom. Birthdays and holidays centered around the stability I provided. Emma's 7th birthday party happened in my backyard, with Lisa and Mark attending as guests rather than hosts. The transformation felt complete when the senior center asked me to speak about elder financial abuse. Standing at that podium, sharing my story, I realized I was no longer a victim. I was an advocate. Other grandparents approached me afterward. My son did something similar. My daughter cleaned out my savings. I didn't know I could fight back. Tyler and Emma beamed with pride. That's our grandpa, Tyler told anyone who would listen. He's famous for being brave. The final test came on a camping weekend in the saved RV. We were parked by a lake, Tyler fishing while Emma roasted marshmallows over our campfire. The peaceful scene felt like everything Margaret and I had dreamed retirement could be. Grandpa, Emma said, licking marshmallow off her fingers. This is better than Europe, right? I laughed. Much better, sweetheart. Tyler reeled in a tiny fish, whooping with excitement. Grandpa, you saved us. If you hadn't fought back, we'd probably still be wondering when Mom and Dad were coming home. You saved yourselves, buddy, by being brave and honest and trusting that things would get better. My phone buzzed with a text from Lisa, a photo of her paycheck with a note. Payment number 6 on the way. Thank you for not giving up on our family. I showed the kids. Emma studied the screen seriously. Is Mommy getting better? She's trying hard to make things right. That's what matters. Emma hugged my arm. You're the best dad ever, Grandpa. As the fire died down and the kids drifted off to sleep in the RV, I sat outside looking at the stars. Marta would be proud, I thought. not just of fighting back, but the man it had turned me into. At 67, I had learned it was never too late to become the parent your grandchildren needed. Sometimes the people who hurt you most teach you how strong you really are. And sometimes love means letting people face the consequences of their choices so they can find their way back to who they're supposed to be. The kids were safe. The family was healing. And for the first time since Margaret had died, I knew exactly who I was and what I was fighting for. That was worth more than any amount of money they could have stolen. If you enjoyed this story, please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your opinions of this story in the comments. To listen to more stories, click on one of the boxes showing on your screen. Thank you for watching.